What's going on, everybody? It's Saint Riot, and I am here today to give you some more tips to help you out when you're doing invasions in Elden Ring. And today I was going to talk about the Taker's Cameo, which is a talisman that you can get for doing the Invader quests for Volcano Manor. Tanith will reward you with the Taker's Cameo after you defeat the Hoslow brother, Juno, I think his name is. The guy that does Bloodhound Step and has the whips. After you beat that guy, you go back, you talk to Tanith, and she'll give you the Taker's Cameo, which is a talisman that restores HP upon defeating enemies. And the thing is it works for invaders. Now, first and foremost, is this intentional? I think so, because it worked the same way in Dark Souls 3. In Dark Souls 3, we had the Ring of the Evil Eye, which did the exact same thing, as well as the Executioner's Greatsword, which also did the exact same thing. I believe it was the Executioner's Greatsword. Is that what it was called? I don't remember. Anyway, the point is, both of those items did the same thing. Anytime you killed an enemy, you would get some health back, and this worked even if you were an invader. So even if you're not the one killing the enemies in the level, you're getting some health back. So you're not just getting health back for beating phantoms. You get health back if the group beats enemies. So first and foremost, this is not something that you should just be walking around and wearing all of the time. This is not something you want to wear for an entire invasion. But it helps. It especially helps in open world invasions. The reason I think it helps so much in open world invasions is because when you invade someone and they're out in the open world, as they defeat enemies, they are getting their flasks replenished. They get flasks back for defeating groups of enemies or defeating a big enemy. So it's hard to make someone run out of flasks. Okay, Saint, I could just kill them in one hit. You could just kill them in one hit. But if you're like me and you don't want to kill them in one hit, then you have these like longer, drawn out fights, which is what I enjoy. So if I'm looking for like the longer drawn out fights, I'm not going to run a bunch of stuff that can kill people in one hit. So I get my longer drawn out fights. I'm not killing anybody in one hit. Point being, if you're not killing them in one hit, they can run around, they can kill a few monsters, they get their flask back. It's hard to win that battle, that war of attrition, if their resources are constantly being replenished. So you can use the Taker's Cameo to get some health back as they kill monsters. For example, let's say that you are, you get hit, and it's not enough that you should use one of your flasks, but it is enough that you would like to heal if you have a chance. And if you could heal for free, why not? So you've been hit, you switch over to the Taker's Cameo, the group, they kill a few monsters, and you get a little bit of health back for free. Didn't cost you anything, all it cost was like a talisman swap. Once they're done fighting the monsters where you've got your health back, get rid of the Taker Cameo, put back on the talisman that you like to wear. So that's obviously, that's the number one most obvious sort of thing that the Taker's Cameo is going to give you as an invader. It's basically just a little bit of free health. In this situation here, I've fought these fellas, and I am completely out of flasks. And I thought for a minute I might be able to get rid of that phantom, but they had just beat the Grafted Scion, and I'm sure the Grafted Scion gave him a flask. And so as I'm beating him up, he walks away and he takes a sip, and I'm like, geez, I thought for sure he would be out. He's not out. So I switch over to the Taker's Cameo, and I run these fellas over to where I know there are a few wolves. And as they fight these wolves, I'm going to get a little bit of health back. I think it's something like 3% of your max health plus 30. So it's not a lot. But if they are, think of all the areas where there's like just a huge group of zombies, or a big group of plants really stuff that they can just get rid of in like 1 or 2 hits, that they're tempted to just swing at, you're getting the same amount of health back regardless. If from the grafted Scion, I would have gotten 3% plus 30 of my health back. From this wolf, I'm gonna get 3% plus 30 of my health back with the Taker's Cameo. I'm gonna get the same amount no matter what, So areas where there's like a ton of little monsters or little whatevers that they're going to be, walking past, there's a good chance that they just, beat the hell out of them just for fun, and now you've got a bunch of your health back off of that. This also can, this is really nice because sometimes you might walk through like an enemy encampment during an invasion, and let's say there's an overleveled phantom, and he pulls out, the Golden Wave Greatsword, and boom, Golden Wave, all of those enemies are gone. So you had all these enemies that were going to help you out, and now they're all gone. Now none of them are going to help you out because the Golden Wave just took care of all of them. Well, you could at least gain all of that health back if you need it, in a situation like that. My point being, there are situations where the group you're fighting will clear out a huge wave of enemies, and when they do that, you can regain a lot of your health if you're in a really bad situation. But that's the most obvious use of the Taker's Cameo, and that's the use I think most people will obviously I could do that if you know, and now you do, that it works for invaders as well as for the hosts and the phantoms, right? It works for you as the invader. So if you're like me right there in that situation, and you're low on health, and there's two dudes running around, you can regain a little bit of health with the Taker's Cameo, enough to keep you alive. Get rid of one of the phantoms. Now you get a flask back. Now the fight changes. Now it's 1 versus 1. This person's a little less confident. And again, it's not something you should leave equipped on all the time. It's just for the times when you need it. Maybe you have a drink of your flask and it doesn't heal you all the way. You can use the Taker's Cameo to get back to full. Or alternatively, somebody hits you but they don't do a lot of damage, but you want your health back, so you equip the Taker's Cameo and you get that little bit of health back, something like that. But there's a more useful aspect of the Taker's Cameo, and in that it just is information. It's just information. It's super valuable as information. If you're invading other people, the best thing you can do is get a look at them before they get a look at you. So you invade, and what are your opponents doing? You can equip the Taker's Cameo and it will tell you, are they fighting monsters? Because if you start hearing and getting health back, they're doing something. They're actively making progress through the level. If you equip the Taker's Cameo as you're walking around trying to get to them, and you never get any health back, they're just standing there, and they're probably just waiting for you. They've probably got a trap set. They're not engaged in doing anything. Right here, I see the solo host. I equip the Taker's Cameo. I get health, and so yeah, he has a phantom. His phantom is off, up ahead, getting rid of the mobs before the host gets to them. So if I hadn't done that, I might have just been like, ooh, a solo host, and then I run up into him, I start beating him up, then his friend shows up, takes me by surprise, and now it's 2 versus 1, and I get killed because I was stupid, and I didn't think about, oh, well, of course he had a friend. Now, some people play through the game with the Taunter's Tongue, they don't have a friend, but, most don't. But the Taker's Cameo, it can tell you, what are they doing, how many of them are there, and if a blue shows up, you can equip the Taker's Cameo, and if you start getting health back, that blue is making his way towards you. Just something to consider. It's information, and information is invaluable to invaders. Thanks for watching. Later, y'all.